Do is we're going to get into like why asphalt maintenance for 2026 and beyond. Okay, why is this the best business? And you know what's crazy is if you would have asked me at any time when I was doing this, is asphalt maintenance a good business? I would say yes. It was. I've had success with it from when I first started. I loved it. I loved everything about it. But genuinely, throughout all those years, I think that right now it would be the best time to do it. Okay, and I want to go through why that is throughout this section of the presentation. So let's get into it. So firstly, the economy is changing. I mean, you can feel it. I feel it. You see it all around us. There's different things happening, right? I mean, man, the cost of housing, the cost of food, everything is going up. There's layoffs that are happening, right? Seasonal hiring isn't as popular as it once was. I mean, I remember when I was in high school. I remember there was two jobs. I'm from Canada, so Tim Hortons I dropped off a resume, and then McDonald's I dropped off a resume. I got callbacks for both and got interviews at both, and I got to pick and choose which job I actually wanted. That's not the case anymore. That was my first job at 15 or 16 years old. I chose McDonald's. I went with McDonald's. Sorry, Tim's. I just hear it's not the case. It's extremely hard even to get these entry level jobs. Okay, so things are changing, and it's time to maybe start looking at different avenues for whether it's your first job or a seasonal job while you're in school. I mean, it might be better to go and take a different route rather than applying to jobs that they're not hiring. And asphalt maintenance, starting your own asphalt maintenance business might be that next step. And I mean, I just quickly went. I've been seeing these articles literally every day for the last couple of years. It's not getting any better, right? These are just some from the United States and from Canada that I pulled up, just saying like it's just showing. There's layoffs happening. There's not as much hiring happening. So the job market is getting harder to find a job, and it's hitting a lot of different sectors, right? It's hitting, well, as you see here, Algoma Steel. So it's hitting manufacturing. It's hitting construction. My best friend, we went out and we did driveways this past summer because it was hard to find work, right? Work was slow. So we went out and did driveways, right? So, and he's in commercial construction, the tech industry. So all these different industries and all for different reasons are getting hit with layoffs or just not hiring. So things are changing. That being said, no matter what happens in the economy with the changing demand in different industries, asphalt is still going to deteriorate. Asphalt is still going to deteriorate, and by law, it has to be repaired. Okay, so if you have a parking lot and there's a pothole in a parking lot, just because the economy is taking a bit of a hit and business is slowing down doesn't mean those property managers are going to forego filling that pothole. What do you think they'd rather do? Spend a few $1,000s filling potholes, or leave it up to chance and maybe have $1 million lawsuit when someone steps in it and sprains their ankle? Okay. Or again, the line painting that has to be done every 2 years. You can't have faded lines. It's a bylaw that these properties remain easy to navigate, right? If you don't have your accessible stalls, the handicap stalls up to code, you can get bylaw ticket infractions, right? So these things have to be done. It's not a luxury service. Maintenance, asphalt maintenance, is a necessity. So these services aren't ever going away. And you think about it, the entire city, the parking lots, the roadways, and most areas where I'm from, is like 80 to 90% of all the driveways. It's all asphalt, and it all needs to be repaired on a bi-yearly, yearly schedule. So the demand's not going no matter what happens to the economy. And again, with the driveway sealing portion of this, it's a recession-proof service, guys. It's $250, $350, $400. It's not a large service. Like once the economy starts to slow down, it's not these type of services that take a hit. It's more of the higher scale. Maybe they're not going to rip out and repave their driveway for $25,000, but they'll go and put a few $100s into maintaining it for that extra amount of time until the economy picks back up. Or again, they may forego a massive $100,000 pool in the backyard. Okay, but the services like asphalt maintenance, driveway sealing for residential, it's recession proof. And how do I know? Well, I mean, I started during the last recession. It was the Great Financial Recession, they called it. That's when I started, and I couldn't find a job, and then I was busy driveway sealing. So I know it's recession proof. The Consumer Reports. And again, I'm sure everybody's seen this AI stuff that's coming, and it's hard to see who is safe and who is not. I've heard of this stuff coming for junior lawyers. This stuff is coming for video editors. It's coming for social media management. It's coming for article writers, copywriters. If it's not hands-on right now, I don't know if it's safe. This AI stuff it's deadly, man. It's coming for everything. But the great thing about the asphalt maintenance industry, especially with running your asphalt maintenance business, is that without a shadow of a doubt that the AI robots aren't coming for your job anytime soon. In fact, you can use this AI stuff to your advantage to help it grow your business. so that it actually helps scale it faster, because all this stuff that it's replacing, it's actually great for you, because then you don't have to spend all that money on hiring social media managers, or hiring copywriters for your website, or ad creatives. You can just get AI to do it. So it's actually, this AI stuff coming up is actually great for the asphalt maintenance businesses, as it saves you a lot of money and it'll never take you over. Okay. The demographic advantage. Okay, this is crazy. And if you watch this closely, you see that a lot of trades, especially in the asphalt maintenance, a lot of the business owners are reaching that age where they're ready to hang it up. Okay, and there's not as many people who are there willing to take over. So there's this huge gap between demand and supply, right? So the demand is now way higher than the supply of people willing to do the work. So that's great for you, because what you do, young individual or someone looking for a career change, you come in here and you fill that gap between supply and demand. Okay. And another thing is the competition here. Like if you're doing these online businesses, you're doing like this e-com stuff, or like these AI businesses, like you're competing with the best of the best, like these whiz kids, these nerds on computers, and you're competing with them all over the world. Okay, so the brightest, sharpest kids, and there's no limit to where they can be located. They can be on the other side of the world, and they're competing for the same customers that you are. Okay, well, when you're running a local asphalt maintenance business, your competition is bound to that geographical location. And usually, I mean, within the asphalt maintenance business, the competition, it's not too hard to beat. Okay, it's usually, I mean, we used to call them, what did we used to call them? Joe Blows, or Dirty Harrys. They're just like, the guys with the busted trucks, and they do a couple of driveways, and they're just looking for their time off. If you take yourself seriously, it's not too hard to stand out within this industry. And that's what I want to help you do. I want to show you throughout this presentation ways that if you were to start your business, you can stand out against the competition and easily just crush everybody. So let's keep it going. And you can easily do that through the digital advantage. Okay, if you understand social media, if you understand building an online presence, building a brand, doing meta ads and Google ads and SEO, right? If you stick around me and listen to me, you'll blow past the competition. Okay, you use all this stuff, and now you use that AI to help you get all this done, bro, you're laughing. The competition doesn't stand a chance. So that's another great reason. And again, like I said, it's not only that all asphalt needs to be repaired, it's that when you do that asphalt repair, it's not like you do that repair and then that's it. It's like you paint those lines and then, I'm never painting those lines again. No, you keep that contact info. 2 years, you seal that driveway every 2 to 3 years. You seal coat that parking lot every 2 to 3 years. So as you build that customer database, you just keep reaching out, and there's just more and more projects that keep coming in. So it's a great reoccurring revenue model, because I mean it's services that need to be completed biannually, or every 3 years, right? And that's because, I mean, asphalt, it just keeps breaking. If you're up north like me in Canada, or in states like New York, like salt on the roads, that eats the asphalt. Okay, and then you have the change in the temperature with the change of seasons, and the UV rays in the summer just evaporate all the tars out, so that's what turns it from that nice black color to the gray. So it's always constantly deteriorating, because there's the weather elements, and there's chemicals, and there's standards that the asphalt has to be kept up to, whether it's private or municipal. Like property managers have a budget that's set aside to take care of the parking lots. It has to be spent. So that's great. It's great for you, because I mean, it's stuff that's got to be done. Okay. So why now? Why should we do this now? Well, we just went over all this. Super high demand for maintenance, because the entire city, like everywhere, is literally covered with asphalt, and it all needs to be maintained. We've already gone through the competition. I mean, they're terrible, and it's a lot easier to jump ahead of them. And as well as a lot of them are getting ready to just hang it up, right? They're getting old. They want to retire. It is physical work. I mean, you can't do it forever, right? Low startup costs, and I'll show you that when we go through the equipment. Okay, when I show you all the different equipment in this that has to do with seal coating driveways, seal coating parking lots, and then getting into the other services like lime painting and crack sealing, it's not expensive compared to other business ventures, guys. It's a very low startup business. And again, the trade, I'm going to show you how to seal coat a driveway. You'll see it's super easy. If you can paint, you can seal coat a driveway. And the margins on these service are high. Okay, you can look at 7x, 9x your sealant, right? 900%. So and again, it's easy to scale too. Once you get that system down, once you build that brand, you leverage that brand to run ads, and the more you spend on the ads, the more work comes in. And when the more work comes in and you expand into commercial, then you can set up a bigger fleet of units. And you can think about it. I mean, if you have just a driveway seal coating, You start with just driveway seal coating, maybe you blow that up, and then you go and you set up another crew for crack sealing, line painting when you get into commercial, and you have your different crews going out. So it's scalable. If you just want to stick with driveways, like you can scale that just by sheer volume of driveways you want to take on. Maybe you want to set up just crews and dominate cities on just driveways, or you can even scale it into different services, because asphalt maintenance, there's not just seal coating, there's the line painting, the crack sealing, the patching, or if you want to even venture into paving. So there's so many different directions you can take this business, which makes it really, really amazing. Okay, so what's my experience? Like, what you're probably sitting there like, why am I listening to this guy? Like, what does this guy know? So I mean, as you'll see in this part of the presentation, I've done it all. Okay, I've sealed driveways. I've gone from sealing driveways to sealing many driveways to having guys run around and sell and seal driveways for me to venturing off into commercial. I mean, you can take a look here. Like, done the crack sealing in the left there. That's me on the crack sealing that routed crack, and then that's my best friend growing up. I taught him how to do the lines. So line painting, I've done the line painting. That's me sealing a driveway and throwing the asphalt around all jacked up. Like, and then paving. I haven't personally paved before, but I've sold hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of paving work. So I know it all, and I've spent many, many years in the business. So we're going to get through it here. I'll just show you exactly my story. And maybe you'll find that my story is really similar to where you are right now, and it'll encourage you to get started. So how did I start? How did I get into this asphalt maintenance business? Because my family, they don't know anything about asphalt. It doesn't run in the family. I actually stumbled upon it while looking for a job when I was going into my second year of university or college. It was hard to find a job at that time. Like I said, it was the recession. There weren't many people hiring. I remember going around just handing out resumes with my friend, and there was just couldn't find a job at the time. And I saw this flyer. It was a commission-based sales job, and I didn't even know like what they were selling at the time, but I decided to try it out. And it turned out that it was we were going door to door sealing driveways. So it definitely didn't come natural, but I stuck with it. And what they did, it was awesome. It was like this massive company. It was countrywide, and it was built like a sport, and we'd all compete and go and sell driveways. And it was not like we drove our units around on a truck. They didn't give us our own truck. It was like this unit, and it was on like a Home Depot like cart, that you push, a little bit more heavy duty, but it's the best way I can explain it. So we'd have to like go sell the job. When you sell the job, okay, run back, grab your driveway sealing cart and just push it to the driveway and seal it. And yeah, I got super jacked up and pushing that cart of sealant all around. And that's how I learned. That's how I learned driveway sealing. It was going door to door and selling driveways. So I feel like learning sales as the like backbone of your business is the most important thing to get down. And if you're going to put in the reps into anything, I think putting it into sales is definitely the best thing to put it into. When you're like door to door sales, it's all cold sales. So I was going, and you go out all day, and you deal with a lot of rejection, but through that rejection you keep going, and then you get your sales, and eventually you get good enough where you go and get many sales throughout the day, and eventually you get to 10, and you do that consistently. It just takes away the pressure or the doubt in your mind about starting your own little driveway sealing business, because really, what is it? I mean, just to get started, once you know that you can go and sell the service, you know how to do the service, like what risk is there really, right? That's really what you need to know how to do, is you need to know how to sell. And then on top of the sales, you just need to know how to do it. Once you learn those two, you can get the ball rolling really quick. So I learned how to sell very early on when I was like 19, 20. So I did that for two and a half years, and I saved up all my money and went out and I bought my own equipment, and then I just did the same thing that I did there. I just went door to door and I started selling my driveways. Started building up customer list, started wrapping the trucks, and I got to sales reps and to them to go out and sell driveways for me. So then I had 2 trucks going out, and that's kind of how I started doing the driveway sealing business. It was a lot of fun, a great way to spend my spring, summer, and falls as a young adult. And then eventually I finished school, and when I finished school, I could start doing things full time, right? So that's when I started putting efforts really into the business. In fact, I think at this time I was still, the winters, I'd bring the guys out, we'd go and we'd do lawn care February, March, April, and maybe most of May out west, because the winter wasn't long out in BC and British Columbia. I'm Canadian, so British Columbia and Alberta. And then May we'd come back and I'd do driveways. I wasn't too much into the commercial work at this point. It was still just driveways. But just to keep the season going, I would go out west for the winters, and then it'd be the Toronto area for the summers, and spring, summer, or summer, fall, doing the asphalt maintenance. And I started getting more into the digital marketing. So I wanted to learn how to grow the business. Like, I had the trucks, they were wrapped, and we'd always hand out cards and flyers, but I kept seeing like online stuff and like online businesses, and I kind of wanted to find a way to take the online like the online systems that people were using for the online business and apply it to the asphalt maintenance business that I had building. So took a bunch of courses on pay-per-click for Google and read a lot of books on SEO. And I started using Google and Facebook ads to start growing and getting leads inbound, because before this it was all outbound, it was all cold calling, and then we get calls from people who like neighbors and people who had our cards, but 80% was all outbound sales up until this point when I started taking the online courses and putting that into practice. So what I learned from getting the rankings on Google, when I started getting, like, the website started making its way up once I started taking these courses, and so when people would type in like on the search like asphalt maintenance, my website would pop up for it, and I started getting calls for commercial work. So that's when I started getting into commercial asphalt work. So we were doing like parking lots, and I personally didn't do line painting at the time, but I had guys that I knew that did it. So I would sub out the lines. I would just go and seal coat the parking lots. And then I had friends who would come in and do the line painting for me, but we're getting calls for crack sealing, crack routing, seal coating really big parking lots, even bigger than I could take on myself with these 2 trucks. But I built up friends in the industry that would come and help. So I never turned down work. I would always take on the work and make sure it got done, even if I couldn't personally finish everything. So we were doing really big contracts at that point. And this led us into what, the 2020, I guess it was, the COVIDity crisis, crazy times, right? So I remember it was the first year of COVID. Everything was shut down. It was super crazy in Ontario. I don't know where you're watching this from, but in Ontario, Canada, we literally weren't allowed to do anything. Couldn't even go to the gym. So we were just kind of sitting for a month or so. The only thing you were allowed to do was, if you had a cleaning business, you were allowed to clean. And if you had construction, like ongoing construction projects, you were allowed to finish them, but no new work. So actually a crazy thing, during COVID, I actually used the skills that I learned running the asphalt, the SEO, and building landing pages. And I built a landing page for like a disinfecting, because I found this product that apparently killed COVID. So we did a cold email campaign, which I also used for the asphalt, and I got a contract with home building company, and they wanted all their homes disinfected. You spray the COVID killer on the inside. So I put on the hazmat, and I drove in my asphalt truck to go and spray these homes with the COVID killer. Yeah, first line worker. So while I was doing that, a property manager spotted the truck, and he had this massive contract to do these storage facilities, a whole bunch of them all over the GTA. So I ended up getting that contract just from being on the move, doing the COVID killing thing. So I had to go and buy a bunch more equipment. I didn't want to sub this one out. I felt like I could do this one on my own. So I went out and I bought a whole bunch more of commercial asphalt equipment at this time. And this was the first year of COVID. This would have been 2020. So that really blew me up into even more commercial work, because from then on, the 2021 season was mostly commercial. So I started to see the growth of the business starting to switch a lot more from residential over to commercial. And the commercial is great. It's a lot higher ticket, and you're on the same spot for the day instead of having to run around all these different homes. So it's amazing. It's high margins, and it's great work to do. It's easy. And once the business started moving way more in that direction, I eventually got a merger deal with a Canada-wide company. So I decided to go on with them and continue building the commercial division, which would be theirs then, for 3 years, and take the offer. And I did that for 3 years. And during those 3 years, it was a lot different, right? So whereas before I could do residential, and then switch over to commercial for maybe 2 days of the week, and then go back to residential. Now my role was just to do all commercial work. So it really put a lot more stress on me, or to try and figure out how to keep the schedule filled with commercial work. So I had to really dial in on marketing and ads and running these campaigns, and then also logistically figuring out, okay, how do I train this crew, get this crew on this site, and then run around to all these different deals and try and close everything. Right. So it was a different beast. And this is when I really saw the business really pick up. And that's when I scaled it to 6 figures a month, and really learned how to do the Google ads and really dial in the website for conversion rate optimization, all this crazy stuff. So that was 3 years I did that. And then once my contract was over, I didn't really have any work. I had one contract for, I think, the biggest asphalt company in Toronto to help redesign and build their website. So I went around and I got them professional pictures and drone images, and I rebuilt their website for them, made it look really, really nice. After that, I mean, there wasn't any ad work. They were doing all major roads city contracts. So I don't even think they needed much advertising. So they didn't want to do Google pay-per-click or anything like that. So after that, I mean, I didn't have any work. I didn't know, like, again, like the job market in Canada was very slow. So I'm trying to figure out like what to do. Luckily at that time, my best friend growing up, who you've seen in some of the pictures here, he was also out of work, like very slow, like down to 1 to 2 days. He was in commercial construction, and since there wasn't much building going on, he didn't have much. So we decided to go out and seal driveways again. And I wanted to see if could just do this from nothing. So I went from doing all these massive projects for all these major corporations to starting over with nothing, no brand, no web presence. I made a logo, put it on a hat and a t-shirt and some cards because I didn't even have pictures that I could use because it was all sold off to the company, right? So I had to start from nothing. So went out and we started knocking doors again, and boom, just like that, like clockwork. And that's really what proved to me that to start off, you don't need any of that fancy stuff. You just need to get up and start and sell. Like, that's why selling is the most important. And that proved it. Like, the first day we went out, we did over $1,700 in driveway sealing sales. So that just proved to me that the most important aspect of this driveway asphalt maintenance is sales. So again, I mean, from here, what I did is I didn't want to let any of this time go to waste. So, I mean, I took pictures of everything, videos, reviews, so that I could use that to build my online assets so that the next season I could run ads. During the off season, while I'm out here in the jungle, I can build the website, right? So it wasn't time wasted. And although cold sales is going to move the needle the quickest, it's not something that you want to stick with forever. You want to leverage all that work and capture those reviews, those videos, those drone shots, those pictures, so that you can build a beautiful online presence with social media, your social media profiles, and your website, so that you get a lot more inbounds going into season 2 and season 3. So all that being said, like, why am I qualified to teach you? Like, why should you listen going forward about how to start your asphalt maintenance business? Or if you want to even take this further and give me a call after this is done. I started my business at a very similar time to what it is now with the economy. Like, it looks like it's slowing down now. It was definitely very slow when I was starting. So I understand exactly what it takes to start in these current economic conditions. Started from nothing, man, just a kid as a sales rep with a friggin' push cart full of sealer. And I went door to door and I sold that on commission for 2.5 years. Then I went and I bought my own equipment. So I know how to venture from just being a sales guy to going and starting, getting your own equipment, how to buy all that stuff, how to get the business up and running, registered, all that stuff I've done. And then scaling it online, I've done with ads, working in the corporate environment. I did that as the exec of the commercial division there. At seeing what it takes to run that with just as one truck doing 6 figures a month, it's very, very doable. I can definitely teach you how to do that. And then again, like, once you get to that level, it's pretty easy to lose sight as to what it takes to just start up again, right? But then going and seeing, like, starting with my friend, just doing driveways, and then going through the steps again from zero, it just shows you, like, it showed what exactly moves the needle from starting from zero, and then the steps to take to get it back to where it was. It's just a process. It just takes a bit of time, but it's a process. And I know that what works as a large brand with that online presence isn't going to work for a business that's just getting up and going. So for example, running Google ads for that business brought in a lot of inbound leads, whereas running a Google ads campaign is not going to bring much inbound for a business that has absolutely zero online presence. You learn that when you go from big brand to nothing. So I've done it all, man. Every single level of this game, and that sums up the entire presentation. So even from the get-go, I tried to explain to you why I believe that this is the best time to get into the asphalt maintenance business. Okay, we went through all the economic factors and how everything's changing, except for asphalt, it's still deteriorating, and it's more of a required maintenance as opposed to a luxury item, right? So it's kind of recession proof. I went through my whole history about how I started when I was a kid and got into the industry and learned more and moved from the residential to the commercial and all the different experiences. So, you could see that I kind of know what I'm talking about here and how you can trust what I have to say. So I hope that offered clarity and you like that story. I went over the equipment that you needed, how to really set up your business so that you're strong from the get-go. Again, I just wanted to go over everything that I knew so that I could provide as much information for you, so that if you feel like this is something that you really wanted to get started, you feel like you have enough knowledge now where you could actually go out and just do it. Like, I'm not holding anything really back, right? We've gone over an hour here of free information for you. So I really, really hope that you found this useful, and I really appreciate you sticking around for this entire presentation to hear what I have to say. And again, if it's been helpful, like I'm so happy. Just wanted to let you know, like a huge reason why I just wanted to do this. I mean, I'm not really selling anything here. There's no paywall. It's just I've noticed that, especially in Canada, this last season, I noticed that the youth unemployment rate was over 20%. Okay, 20% of when you're in college or when you're in high school and you can't find a job over the summer, and I didn't really like that. And I found that, I mean, I was kind of in a similar situation when I was going to university. It was like a recession, um, and I found this little niche driveway sealing service, and it just, kind of took my mind off not being able to find a job, and I actually just fell in love with it and became super obsessed with the industry as a whole, and it just it's been a fun experience. So I just thought if someone's in that similar situation, and they kind of stumbled across this, maybe it'd get them intrigued, and start getting them looking into it, and maybe they'll start their own, and maybe you'll move forward with it. I mean, from here on, you have all the information. And if you needed more, or if you wanted more, or if you just wanted to connect or talk, ask a question, pick up one of the books that I have about, if you wanted to learn about advertising, or if you wanted to learn more about that stuff that we briefly went over in the presentation in regards to setting up your business and all that. Give me a call, or if you have like equipment, anything, just book a call online, and I'd be happy to go over anything with you, offer help, or if you wanted, my help in moving things forward, we can put together something, and I'd love to help you out with getting you started on your asphalt business. Again, what I really want you to know is, like, this isn't hard. Okay, like doing this asphalt stuff, I can go out in a day after friggin' not doing driveways for a long time, doing the commercial stuff, and then working corporate, and then coming back with absolutely no brand or anything, and doing 1,700 in a day. Like, the training wheels don't come off. Like, I'm not special. Like, it's just not hard. It's just, you just have to do it. You just have to get started. Okay, you don't have to take over the world all at once. You start small. Don't bite off more than you can chew, and you grow. Right? You just use that momentum to just grow and grow and grow. Like, there's people out there who are blasting rockets off into space and having them land back on a platform, or like curing diseases. Or putting up skyscrapers. Like, trust me, you can figure out how to take a gray driveway and turn it black. Okay, you can figure out how to put yellow lines on a parking lot. It's not hard. You can do this. You just have to get started. And if I can help you get started, I would love to do that. I'd really look forward to hearing from you. If you wanted to give me a call, just do it. There's a button somewhere around here, where you can book a call on my calendar, and I'd love to talk to you. So again, I hope you enjoyed this presentation and that you learned lots, and I look forward to hearing you. There's my tag for Instagram if you're interested in following me. Take care. Bye.